standards to permit companies who could prove that external environment effect of legal political environment or globalized environment. Their chocolate was produced without forced labor to label their chocolate slave labor free. Like that should be indicated, no? As the drugs, alcohols, cigarettes, they should display it. Right. So it's a responsibility, right, of these companies, no? To say the production manufacturing is free from slave labor or child labor. But not only in chocolate, no. Here and there, these are used. Child labor, women labor, exploitation, all are done by managers unethically. Right. To forestall such a labeling, the chocolate industry agreed to an international protocol that would give chocolate producers, governments, and local farmers 4 years to curb abusive practices, unethical practices, abusive practices, and put together a process of certification to get the certification, accreditation. No? That's the environment, role of the external environment, what we discussed, no? In the third lesson. You can pick some points if you have such in mind. No? Right. The stories of child slave labor on these cocoa farms hit Cadbury especially hard. This company, no? While the company sources most of its beans from Ghana, it's popular for chocolate and other things from African country. The association of chocolate with slavery represented a challenge for the company, since many consumers in the UK associated all chocolate with Cadbury. Even in Japan, Ghana, chocolate from Ghana are popular, no? And cheap as very hard. Furthermore, Cadbury's culture had been deeply rooted in the religious traditions of the company's founders, and the organization had paid close attention to the welfare of its workers and its sourcing practices, outsourcing, and employee welfare will be, no? Right. Those are major values, no? Shared in this company. In 1988, the company had ended a sourcing relationship that depended on slave labor. Now, for the first time in nearly 100 years, Cadbury, now more than 112, 140, right? Cadbury had to take up the questions of slavery again. Time to time, this problem happens, no? Right. By the 2005 deadline, the chocolate industry was not ready to implement the protocols and asked for 2 years more to prepare. Privately, many industry officials believe that the kind of certification sought by the protocols was unrealistic, not practical, no? Because cocoa was produced on over millions small farms in Western Africa, ensuring that all of these farms, most located deep in the bush, remote areas, combined with child labor, laws seem impossible. They do, no? They will work for those gardens to earn something. This is coming. Furthermore, because beans from numerous small farms were intermingled before shipment, it was difficult to track those produced by farms in compliance with labor standards and those that were not. Right. Last para. In 2008, a confrontation between US government officials and the industry seemed imminent. Observers argue that this left Cadbury, a company that had done much to improve its supply chain in a difficult position. Right. Right. That's the story. Yeah. Around that you can see some related problems discussed based on our subject management fundamentals. Briefly explain, you have to then first identify it. After that, briefly explain it. Small paras or with bullets or numbers. 5 management issues faced by Cadbury. Issues are the needs, no? Needs to adapt. Needs to address them. One major issue. The hints are given, no? By reading, you have to get the hints. One is environment. You can derive the thing from effect, causes of environment or need of issue is what? Need of complying with these external environmental forces coming as global effects or legal political effects. Then elaborate that. To support that, you can extract and present part of the area from the case. But before that, you have to, present the concept and elaborate that. Extracting is not a must, but even in your explanation, you can have the flavor of this with your explanation. The reader can understand and you have combined. That is given, no? The instruction also based on the relevant concepts you learn in this subject and the information provided in the piece. Now I am giving that. Otherwise, normally we don't give this, but to be very specific for the student, I have stated that. Otherwise, we could give the questions only straight just after the case. But now the purpose is clear now. If we say so. That is one. Then another one. Or else these different points of the environment, because more points are on that. You can split them. Overall, the main need is to adapt and comply with these environmental standards. Then you considering the relevant environmental forces differently seen, you can get some points. Then one is political and labor. Then one globalization. Then socio-cultural. Socio-cultural. This belongs to the African setting. Then even the case explain that, highlight and that, no? Those are preventable. Those are underdeveloped countries. Their unemployment is very high. Then people may send, parents will send their children, no, for those gardens to provide their labor. They are not schooling, no? All are not schooling. Even while schooling, they can do part-time jobs. Likewise, you can pick different environmental points, at least three of them, to identify 3 problematic areas or 3 needs of adapting, complying. Yeah, after that you can have the link with other subject, topics also we discuss. If so, what is one? Another thing. Yeah, culture, corporate culture, Cadbury culture, some information on that has been given. You can pick that also, no? We discussed about culture. They should be passed over generations, or to stop them in a destination. Therefore, Cadbury has that obligation, right? In addressing this issue, whatever the decisions, it should make whatever the environmental pressures coming differently. Yes, different forces you now highlighted. it should make the final decision to match with the culture, all thinking, all values, not to overrun them. That should be another point. Then control, no? We discussed controlling. Then these companies, especially as international companies selling food items, should have proactive controls and reactive controls appropriately, both. Otherwise, their image, company image, brand name, good name would be affected negatively. Likewise, you can highlight 5 such importance, needs, or issues or problems. Then in the next part of the question, you can give some recommendations or use take usable actions to address or to achieve that need. Then to comply with the global pressure, it can now benchmark what other companies, other similar companies are doing to face similar problems. Then this also can come up with a similar device. That's what we discuss in the contingency approach. Or situation approach. Then country to country, it should comply with the local rules regulations. Likewise, you can propose. Then it's a matter of balancing standardization, no? Standard presentation of the chocolate while complying, following the local pressures or local requirements. Then to address the socio-cultural things, a similar point can be given. No? Again, it should understand different cultural values, norms, beliefs, rules, regulation, etc. prevailing in the particular country, and accordingly, it should organize its marketing programs. And production also should start based on that. And labeling, packaging should be, completed, no? To give the required messages for those segments or stakeholders in those countries. Then a similar strategy should be given, proposed, no? For the environmental issues. Right. But we highlighted the culture, culture also. Then it should give a cultural training, no? It should give cultural awareness programs, organize cultural awareness programs for the workforce all over the world to say these are our stands. So this is our stand. Then everybody should follow these values because in the past also we did the same. Likewise, cultural awareness programs should be organized. Right. They can be via Zoom or as webinars. Right? But the managers, no, not the lower level employees, the managers and supervisors should be educated. Right. Then on controlling, you can see both proactive controls. It includes cultural awareness as well, and reactive controls. After getting identifying a problem in a particular market, then quickly it should rectify the problem. That recommendation can be given to the fifth one. Right. then you are supposed to first identify and briefly explain why such needs and issues or problems as per this information and the things we discuss in the class. Then, as action plans, you can propose recommendations. Some recommendations are similar because the first 3 points were identified around an external environment. No? Need of adapting to the external environment. But we identify different environmental forces that can be done. Then your recommendations also should be given as slightly differently, no? Slightly differently. So those are different environmental forces. That's the way I think, the best way of finishing this case study. But there can be other points, even I can derive some other points if I think we also can do the same. But we can do that. We don't have time during the exam, no? Therefore, we have to make the decisions to match with the available information and other factors. But one answer gives maximum 20 marks. In answering for cases, don't think of the length of the space. Be confident to provide very justifiable answers. Very, concrete answers. With some reasons, no? Reasons, facts, etc. But you can use about 1 hour, 1 hour roughly to answer this question. Because it gives 40 marks. For 1 mark, 1.5 minutes can be used roughly. Then no harm if you use 1 hour for this. But before that, you can complete. It won't take 1 hour. That will take minimum 30 minutes. Minimum 30. And more than that. Right, second one has been given with a small statement, no? At beginning. Managerial thoughts evolve over time due to the forces influencing the practice of management. Right, we noted this as well. Then there are 2 questions. Then evaluate the applicability of scientific management school. Introduced by Taylor to the modern workplace. 10 marks. Then you have to first introduce them with the key features, right? And the main emphasis of that. Right. Then after that, you can have a small SW analysis on that. Then identify state some strength and 20 weaknesses. Weaknesses mean some points may not be applied as they are. They should be adjustable in the modern business world. Such things can be identified as some improvements. But even there are points equally, even they can be continued even today in future. Division of labor, scientific selection, scientific training, plan management or supervision, work motivation with financial rewards. Those are still applicable, but there are some other factors also to motivate. And likewise, the latter part of the answer can be provided with your what is called discussion, evaluation. But before that, you have to present the model theory or principles with the main focus of the school in management or managing people. And it is mainly biased on efficiency, enhancing efficiency. Actually, what we discuss in other theories, comment in the scientific management can be provided. Those should be provided under limitations. The other theories are the behavioral theories, no? They started with the Hawthorne findings. To understand the human side, human behavior. Right. Then about one page, yeah, one page can be used for structured questions, not like case answers, no? They should be well organized. Answers for these structured questions. Your answer also should be a structured one. Second one, yeah, in a similar way, but the theory is the other one, no? One from the recent historical records. The first one is from the early historical records. You can start in that way, no? This is a theory or approach introduced under the early historical records. Then in second, you can say this is a one considered under the recent historical records. No harm to have an introductory approachable sentence. Right, then here you have to provide the system, open system model, and briefly explain the keywords. Then discuss on that, evaluate its strength as well as if any limitations. What are the strength? Still, I think that now the validity of this is very high now in a time period like now, because there are many pressures from the external environment, right? Therefore, now all organizations, irrespective of the scale, nature, all should embrace the pressures or requirements of the external environment. Therefore, today it is highly visible than before. But can you identify some weaknesses? If no weaknesses, need not to identify intentionally. You can say so. Still, this model is highly viable for the modern workplace. But highlighting the things mentioned by the contingency view, then you can say some points, no, as some improvable areas of this one. This is a general one, but the contingency theory is very specific, where managers can know what kind of environmental changes are happening, what kind of strategies they should come across to similar situations and to dissimilar situations. That has not been mentioned specifically by the systems theory. Therefore, that area should be understood with the contingency view. You can propose it. Then you have to use your brain now in answering to structured questions. Right. Then you better write that. Later, you have to write the answers. Without writing, you can improve them. I am telling the ways only. Yeah? I am communicating the patterns only. But I am not doing the exam. No, you are doing. It's the nature of good revision actually, not like the A-level revisions. We should not kill student minds' capacities. We have to arouse them, upgrade them. In A-levels also, I think this is the style the tuition teachers will follow. Then a student would not be very fear of exams, no? They will be very comfortable. Then need not to go with the high competitive mindsets for classes and for schools, for exams, no? they can happily do the exams. They can save time, money also. You need not to go different classes for one subject. They can refer textbooks, no? Textbook and other materials from the internet and all. Then they can have their own diary or file for the subject. Then closer to the exam, they can quickly go through them. Those are the good styles, no, of learning. Those should be started from the primary education, from the early schools. Right, then third one. Managerial planning sets guidelines to the other functions of the process of management. Hence, planning is the key to managing organizations. Yeah, we know that, no? Right. Then there are two questions. One has 6 marks, it's a short one. The other one is bigger, more than 10 or 14 marks. Right. Then state advantages and limitations of managerial planning. Yeah, in 2 columns you can present it, no? Yeah. Advantages of planning or plans, then limitations. At the end of the add-up, we identify them. But under advantages, you can say how planning helps other functions to do other functions efficiently and effective. Then limitations should be identified not because of the wrongs of plans, but because of how they are misunderstood, misused used by the users. Yeah, then we said we identify 3 or 4 points on that. Sometimes too much of addictive plans by managers can overestimate the certainty level of the environment. That is one. Then because of the same, they can underestimate the uncertainty, right? Then they can underestimate the human capacity, creativity, innovations, right? Likewise, you can identify 3 or 4, but there are more points for advantages, right? At least 6 of them should be presented in the 2 sides. Then 6 marks were given. 1 mark for 1 point. But use your own words also, not only the keywords. Use much of your own words also to decorate the statement. Not only your own words, but you have to use keywords as well. Both should be used. Keywords are relevant to the subject or the particular topic. Then describe the process of planning with the suitable diagram and examples. Then we had a diagram, no? That should be provided with 5 stages, no? Develop the plan, translate the plan, plan operations, plan execution, monitor and review, no? Like have the arrows, the cycle. That's the general plan. Here planning process means general planning, not the strategic planning. To provide the strategic planning, it should be asked in those terms. Otherwise, if words are silent, then it means the provision of general plan. If you are using a strategic planning, no marks out of 14. Planning process means the normal plan, no? Right? Not the strategic planning. Then identify the key points in a box, in boxes. In the first box, what are the key points? Defining mission, no? Then other goals. and plan. Goals, next. Different goals. The second, tactical plans, mapping strategy, mapping strategy or mapping plans with the strategy, then contingency. Under planned operations, targets, performance targets or standards, then action plans, no? Action plan. Then we noted three tools to execute plans, MBO, single use plans, standard plans. No? Right. But they should be briefly explained now, not only to show on the boxes, diagram. Then monitor and review can be done with the performance review, no? Performance review, operational information. For that purpose, the last phase of MBO can be used, right, as learning. Then it helps to improve the future planning attempts of managers. Like that, briefly explain. Give examples for to explain the keywords. For this also about one page can be used, no? Not two sides. Only one side can be used. Even though there are 14 marks. Fourth one. Managing and leading go hand in hand to coordinate activities and motivate people in organizations. Compare managing and leading with examples. 10 marks. Again, in two columns, you can provide the answers, no? We use two boxes with the keywords, no? Yeah, then at least 5 of them can be taken to one side. Then in both sides, we will get 10 points. Then you can go 10 marks. But there should be a heading also about the table, managing and leading. Then at the first key, managing, leading, or attributes of managers, attributes of leaders. Like that. Then row wise you can present down. Managers, risk takers, risk avoiders, no? Conflict avoiding, conflict, positive conflict creating. Likewise, you can identify what? Proactive, reactive, proactive. Ask who or when, if there are problems, then ask why that happened. Like that. And then money is mainly used by managers to motivate. Then other resources are also used by leaders. No? Motivate, inspire people like this. 10 points in both sides can be presented. But the inner line now of the two columns, those should be comparative points. Right. Evaluate the applicability of equity theory of motivation to the modern workplace. Then you can't present any other theory other than the equity theory. In a scale, the diagram should be provided. Adams introduced this as a scale. Then what are in the scales? Inputs and outputs. Right. Then as inputs, what we should consider? Even effort, time, and other contributions as the performance factors leading to the performance. As outputs, all two types of rewards can be presented in that basket. But you have to explain. In realizing the equity worker price to compare, no? Compare his or her input output ratios, right? With another one, or with market norms, industry norms. Right. After that, if he or she realize inequity, the worker would respond, no? Step by step in such manners. We can explain that. Therefore, equity theory would help managers and pay compensation managers to organize, introduce compensation programs with the fact that workers try to compare their input and or their performance and benefits with the same of similar others. As an example, a manufacturing worker can do the same with another manufacturing worker in the organization or in another organization. Likewise, you have to describe logically. But before that, the diagram should be provided, as you remember. The maximum about one side of a paper can be used now for this also. For the above, needed to have one side of paper, even half of that is enough, no? Because two sides can be used. And next one, out of 6, you have to provide this meaningful paragraphs on 5 of them, no? If there's a diagram, you can provide, no harm. But there should be text sentences. First one, extrinsic work motivation. Yeah, you can say it is one type of work motivation, right? Use your own styles. Then, extrinsic motivation is identified with the extrinsic factors which are observable, no? Highly observable, which can give short-term motivation, no? Motivation in short term for all employees. Examples to these extrinsic motivational factors are blah blah blah, condition of salaries, allowances, other benefits, work conditions, job contracts, whatever visible things. You can elaborate more, no? All workers may expect, no, the provision of extrinsic motivational factors for them. It is to have short-term motivation or motivation in short run. Likewise, small paragraph, taking 4 to 5 lines can be used. Right, barriers to effective communication. We have a list, no? You can identify some of them and replace them, no? Yeah. Accordingly, you can give meaningful information. Barriers of effective communication can limit the way the communication is intended, no? To pass among the to the audience. There are numerous barriers to effective communication. Some of them are filtering, selective perception, then emotions, language, line, those things. Then briefly explain some of them. Then give some solutions as major strategies of communication to address these barriers. It is proposed using different channels as much as possible. Be a good listener and have the feedback. Having the feedback, no? Therefore, need not to provide the model of the communication here is not appropriate. Task environment. This is one part of the external environment, no? Task environment. There are other names for this direct environment, micro environment. Likewise. Or you can show the diagram and in a segment you can highlight. It is also possible. It takes it won't take more time, no, to present that diagram, no. You can remember, most of you can remember. Then right, but have the highlight the task part with the polito with the narrow. Right. But you have to explain. What are the key players in the task environment? Customers, suppliers, competitors, and labor market. Then briefly explain it. The role of them should be briefly explained. Then you have to say these forces can regularly influence the organization, and managers also can, organization also can influence them appropriately. Right. Then managerial coordination. It is one, the third some function in we identified in organizing. It has two types: vertical coordination, horizontal coordination. The two diagrams, if you remember, can provided as cartoons. This is the way vertical coordination happens. But you have to identify the components. What are they? Downward communication, upward communication. In lateral coordination, in department, team or department or interdepartmental coordination will be done with the teamwork, with the horizontal communication. Then definitely you have to say communication and information sharing. Communication of information is the main thing to do coordination. Self-managed teams. It's a new type of work teams. It is the ultimate full movement of work empowerment. To happen this, there are two conditions. One is senior managers of the organization need to have egalitarian values, not to have fear of losing their power in delegating and empowering members. Then team members, employees also should have the capacities and willingness to hold responsibilities. Then you can give some practical examples from that. Self-managed teams, big companies like Toyota, BMW, Audi, Samsung, Nokia have introduced self-managed teams. Even Boeing company has introduced, where they try to identify work-related problems as well as come up with solutions. They will be forwarded to the supervisors. Right. It is the high empowerment work empowerment movements. It has happened as a result of high work empowerment movements. In supermarket chains also we see targets, kills, they do self-management. But whenever there is a problem, they consult, they ask the help of the supervisor, bring in the bill, Right. But finally, you can say even in certain environment there should be a need of a supervisor. External supervision cannot be replaced fully. Therefore, meaningfully, short description should be given to strengthen the meaning, applicability of the concept. Therefore, it is not bad. This question can cover many area, huge area of the subject. Yeah, not tested in other questions. Right, concurrent controls. They come under different types of controls. Management controls. That's the second type. There are similar names for that as process controls, ongoing controls. Then give examples for them. Production controls, quality controls, culture controls. No. Yeah, they also can be concurrent. Then inspection, quality control, quality checking, inspection, observations. random visits, then production dashboards, right? Those are concurrent control methods. Visual aids, visual aids. Right, that's how, but it takes more time to write that. We read out only. Then you have to know the approach, no? How to approach this. Then you can do that. It won't take 3 hours now to complete the paper. You can finish this around 2 hours, 2.5. But read carefully, relax in the exam, don't be panic, enjoy that. As you watch a film, no? Then enjoy the exam period, not happy. Then you have to manage that paper, no? Manage the particular situation. It's a psychological game. But don't do copying and all. Those are academic exam officers. So you have code, one is code, then throughout the life is dark, no? Rely upon yourself. The current knowledge capacity is very enough, even to go for A plus. But have upper level targets, then definitely you will end up with the minimum without repeating. Targets should be high, no? Higher than the ceiling. Then final, definitely then you will end up with the ceiling. That is not bad, no? You can survive. But try to be excellent, no? Get good passes. Final to have a class above, lower, at least upper. Then some students are getting medals also, no? The convocation medals. Medals also. Medals for some subjects. Overall, medal for overall performance. In the universities also now different medals and awards are given. I think I did this one better than the previous one. I did. No? But both are in the same structure. Your one is also in the similar form. You have to answer all questions. Sorry, answer question one case compulsory, which is compulsory, and 3 other questions. Total is 100 only, not more than 100 is the evaluation of final exams. The last week also appeared in the same way, no? First question case gave 40 marks, no? You were supposed to select three other structured questions, including this one. This is not a structured question, actually, this is a short note. But answer can be presented, paragraph can be structured. But to answer cases, you should be distinctive. Distinctive. Student to student, no, there can be different arguments. No one best answer. Here you have to consider, all should consider similar keywords, no? Keywords. Similar base should be there. But student to student, they will use the different tones, words, based on their communication capacity, vocabulary. That is allowed. Right. Then any other questions about the way I did this paper? These are the only papers now. Over. Others are in pending, I can't do them. So it's a violation. But I can do some similar papers done for in the university. It is possible. We will do that now. In the chartered also, no, we do SIMA ICC papers and other papers. Likewise, you can do that. That is okay because they have been conducted already. Then I can do the same for them. That is for them to share knowledge. That is possible now. That is called benchmark. That is highly appreciated. Right, then should we have a break? Or should we continue with another one and we will do something and have a break around 10 now? We should feel the need now to have that. Still, I think we don't feel the break. And now there are 4 members now. Choir teams. Yeah, what are your responses? Any clarifications about the past paper we did with that case, Cadbury case? I explained the guidelines, and jot down them and try to write the answers leisurely when you are free. Otherwise, you can't improve your writing. It won't be, otherwise it won't be a good revision. Then we finish quizzes also, no? Yeah, I announced the marks, I think. That is one part. Then today, I think, no, you have to upload your PDF copy of the concept book. You can go till up to 11:59 today, but don't try to do that in the last moment. Do that just before. Only one report should be uploaded for the team. Only one for one team. One PDF. I can download all at once to a folder later. Now command is okay now. It is towards 11:59 today. Command is okay now. Instruction given by me. No time to edit. You have to ensure you have uploaded. Then that means 30 marks. But since doing the class on the next day is compulsory, shall you have, if you like, you can have oral presentations. All team members should come. Even online members can do that via online. What's your opinion? Then you can divide, minimize the risk half by half. Because there are two activities. Otherwise, 30 evaluation is only based on one activity, written report. Then tentatively, can you get prepare 5-6 slides based on the report? All teams, if in a chance we should come and do the class on 26th morning, then we will have the oral presentation. But all members are not now, no. Then discuss and let me know, right? Otherwise, on the next day, if we should do as a norm, we should do the class, then we have to, go through again the revision questions again, giving similar guidelines. Huh? Yeah, then we can do that. For me, it is boring actually. I don't know. It is interesting for you. For me, it is boring. Okay. I am touching similar things. But you need that if there's one more day. Okay, then we will do that. And another case or cases. Well, today we can touch, we should touch a case or cases from that book. Then we will have only written evaluation. Out of 30, yeah. Try to upload only one copy for one team. One PDF copy to one team. Check whether no omissions of pages and sections are getting the final PDF. So after getting the PDF also you have to check. And after uploading, try to check whether it is downloaded and open. Otherwise, if I can't open, then I can't evaluate. You can do that, no? You can see the downloaded one and try to do the similar thing I do. Otherwise, you have to again download, upload, and check again whether it is readable. Do that also. Otherwise, I have to find your information and give a message, send, I have to get that back. Sometimes office people would call me. It's a messy situation. Check whether the file has been uploaded properly, in a downloadable one and in a readable, openable. Right. Online members also, got those very frequently asked questions, FAQs. Then we try to use the ebook. I said we will use some other papers also, no? Or we can do that after the break. Yeah, this is actually one paper. Subject name is different, no? Right. Okay, it's given here now. An old one, no? 2020. But since the last year before the last, we have been giving compulsory case also. Yeah, from this. It's a similar case now, given for you also. We discuss this one. Yeah, similar one. It was all undergraduate. These questions were set by my other lecturer, my friend. This I said case and the last two. But from the similar topics we discussed, no? Evolution, management, introduction, environment. A very straightforward question paper. All are structured, no? Your rotation, multi-domestic strategy, SWOT analysis, ECG metrics, situation and leadership, mission statement, five forces analysis, all are answerable with meaningful paras. Briefly explain five non-financial control methods used in organizations in Sri Lanka. Possible, no? Identify the control and briefly explain. Non-finance. Non-financial. Excluding financial control methods. Production. Hello, you can't see that, no?
No, sir. Can you share the screen?
Sorry. This is one paper discussed at the university level. Yeah. We were looking at this last one. Yeah, I mean, cross-checking the short answer or provide or write the short notes on five of them, no? All are possible like that for you, your rotation, multi-domestic strategy, SWOT analysis, BCG metrics, situational leadership, mission statement, five forces analysis, all are possible for you. Then here you have to briefly explain five non-financial control methods. Quality control, no? Production control, inspection, what is culture control, other behavioral controls, etc. can be identified and briefly explained now. But it is important. Suddenly you may try to provide financial control methods. It is wrong now. You can then get the marks out of 5. If so, fifth one, describe the leadership grip theory, including its practical importance to contemporary managers. Blake and Morton introduced, no? I drew that too. I asked you to download and draw it down with a square, big square. There are 9 scales. Concern for production and concern for people were accommodated on the two sides. They were scaled from low to high. Then we had a spreadsheet, no? With 81 sets in the area of the whole square. Then there we identified 4 corner points and the middle point, no? Didn't I do that for this class? Right. He came. Right. Then today I have to do that, no? Fortunately, we got to know that doing this. God might help us to have this, no? But anyhow. Oh, you can download that. Google, you have the internet. Oh, I will do that. No, you can use the both. See my picture as well as the nice picture. You can download. Then I will write down that on the whiteboard. Even online members can try for one of them as an image. If you Google that, then you have to type this name, the theory name, no, leadership grid theory. Try to search for that. Then first we have to have a square. Some writers are using the rectangle also, but better to use a square. This seems to be a square. Then here we have to consider concern for production. That means task orientation of the leader. Concern for production. It moves from low to high. This area is low. This area is high. Yeah? Similarly, we can place the other dimension, no? Concern for people. That means relationship orientation of the leader. This area low, above is high. Right, then we have to divide the two sides into nine scales. Then we have to number them from 1 to 9. Here also from 1 to 9. Then we have to link the cells. You may use a ruler. So it should be equal. Right. Then here we will highlight 5 points, 4 corner points and the central point. These are different styles. Then we have to read the x and y axis respectively. This position is noted as 1, 1, no? 1, 1. Then we can color that. Then this is 9, 1, no? This is 1-9. This is 9-9. This is the 5-5, no? And these are given different names by the authors or different leadership styles or management styles. One is said as impoverished management. One nine is considered as country club management. Nine one is considered as authoritative compliance or task compliance management. Five is considered as middle the road management. Nine is the team management. Yeah, this is the leadership grid theory by Blake and Morton. Overall diagram. Robert Blake and Jane Morton. Oh, these are the surnames of Blake and Morton. This 5-5. Actually, these are the two dimensions, no? Though given dissimilar names, these are the two dimensions found by Ohio and Michigan leadership studies in behavioral leadership. That's the first part of the question. You can get more marks out of 10, providing this diagram with the highlights up. Then after that, you have to highlight the practical use of this for modern managers. Even the writer has said so. By looking at, you can tell them. One importance is what? Looking at the words in the two sides, two dimensions, we can know those are the two dimensions today leaders should consider, no? To get the task done with the while developing relationship. But then even modern leaders should know what should be their two main concerns, right? With the followers, so with the subordinates, with the team members, getting the task done and improving relationships, no? Right. That is one insight given. Another one is when we look at the cells, different cells of key leadership styles on the grid, the particular manager can understand what kind of style he or she is using as per the grid, where it can be located, placed. That is another importance, no? It can be somewhere much relating to 9.1 or 1.1 or 5.5, 1.9 or 9.9, or exactly on one of them. Right. Then, if it is far below the expectations, then managers can know how to reach, how to improve that style. Assume that if it is here, exactly here, then it is more task, high task, low relationship. Then such a leader can think of improving relations with the followers step by step. If it is here, relationship is well, but such a leader should know in future he should move from relation to task orientation. Likewise. Therefore, these three main advantages can be given by this model. But situational leadership theories were introduced later on. Right now we know that. Therefore, now we have to say it is a limitation of this. Not only the things mentioned in this model, but now leaders should consider even in moving, no, moving the style. They should know what's the situation. Situation means what's the readiness level of the followers, no, team members. If it is favorable, they can delegate, no, delegate more tasks for the team members. Otherwise, leaders should do those things actively. Right. But that is not communicated by this model. That was communicated by the situational leadership model. If you like, you can tell that also, because we know that all these were known to us now. That's how you can use your critical thinking, right? Be good professionals, professional managers. Right, online members also can download, but you can first check this with the images game through the internet. There can be small changes, differences, but the overall things are similar. Right, fourth one, the one we had, no, in our paper also. Describe there are three parts of the question. Describe the process of planning with examples, 10 marks. Have the general planning diagram and indicate the points and briefly explain them. State the four limitations of planning. Then I need not to identify advantages. Can state the four limitations of it. Briefly explain three types of departmentalization with examples. The examples means you have to draw the diagram only to indicate the particular part, not upper level and lower level positions. Yeah, simple departmentalization, functional, product, market to customer, then geographical metrics. We studied now, three of them can be even as familiar to you. And briefly explain them. Then third one, three questions are there. Decision-making processes, recognizing and defining the nature of a decision, situation, identifying alternatives, choosing the best alternative and putting it into practice. Evaluate the above statement by highlighting the rational decision-making model. Right. Normative, no, rational decision-making model, we know the highlight the characteristics. And after that, you have to go through the sentence keywords of the statement quoted, no, there again and try to present your own stand. So I will not from that. No? The evaluation as evaluating that. Yeah, then the principles mentioned in the rational decision making is are more with this one, no, more with this one, no, right. Therefore, to make rational decisions, the said order in this statement can be well followed compared to other complex decision making. That's how invariably it is asking whether you can present key principles be identified in the rational decision making, right? It's an economic decision making model, no? All decision goals, targets can be clearly stated. More information can be available. Then information can be analyzed, no, systematically. Then all the alternatives can be found as much as possible. Then the best alternative can be selected, evaluating the found more alternatives. Then it can be easily implemented. Right. Those were discussing the decision-making process also. Then differentiate administrative decision-making model from political decision-making model. Then these two things are then no administrative and political. Then you have to actually identify key points of them and compare. The administrative decision-making model identify two conditions, no? Bounded rationality and satisfying behavior. It said decision maker tries to, he or she would not go for finding all possible alternatives with the two conditions, due to the two conditions. No? Then he or she tries to make the identify alternatives which are available time as per the situation and try to select the best one out of that. And therefore, it is the individual, it is done with the individual orientation, personal orientation, person to person, that the focus of that would be different, seen different. But political decision making say to understand complex decision, better to use a qualitative style, teamwork. You have to make the decision, follow the decision stages in a team, in a team as a coalition. That's how the two can be distinguished. Discuss the reasons for managers to make bad decisions with examples. Bad or limited decisions. Yeah, one is as mentioned here, the lack of information available. Another, satisfaction, need of satisfaction himself or herself. Then other constraints. Then power struggles, power distribution, power need for power. Right. Then the corporate culture, structure, pattern of behavior of employees all can determine the managers to make limited decisions. Here, not bad decisions, limited decisions. Decisions with limitations. That means every time managers cannot go for the rational decision. Then you have to give some points for that. Reasons for that. Actually, these are the questions said by the other lecturer, right? My friend. Explain the terms efficiency and effectiveness with examples and discuss their relevance to management. You can do, no? Briefly explain the efficiency, that means doing things right, using resources at their maximum capacity. Right. Then can you give an example to show the efficiency? Completion of a task by an employee with the minimum effort and time, no? Be a simple example. Right. Or minimizing the waste or defect of the product. Okay? Right. All examples for the efficiency. And explain the effectiveness. Doing the right thing, no? Thing which can help achieving the goal. Right. Then any actions used to satisfy customer, motivate employees, improve quality. No? Those are examples for effectiveness. Doing the right thing or correct things which are expected by others, no? Stakeholders. Henry Wiesberg 70s criticized traditional functional approach to management as is unrealistic. He came out with a new approach to this. Briefly explain the new approach put forward by Henry Wiesberg as that's the role approach, no? Henry Wiesberg introduced 10 roles under 3 categories, no? Interpersonal roles, informational roles, and decision roles. First 2 had 3 roles, altogether 6. Last had 4. Right. You have to administrate them. But to match with the explanation, finally or before, you have to give your own conclusion, review also. Then only it comes as a full answer, meaningful answer. Discuss the components of internal and external business environment and outline the model that can be used to evaluate each environment. Right. Yeah, 2 diagrams should be provided at least. First diagram can be provided to have the components. Then to evaluate the environment, assess the need of adapting, we had another diagram, no? The mapping. Then yeah, provide both for 6 months. Right. Knowledge about the management today is a result of continuing ideas and practices over a long period of time. Therefore, it is important for everyone to study the history of management to understand today's practices and tomorrow's practices. Evaluate the above 6 months. Yeah, then you can provide the diagram with boxes on left and right. Show on left we identified early historical trends and then recent historical trends. For each we identified some other key perspectives, no? Right. Then after that, you can say the evolution means contemporary means using the findings of the previous one, right, with the new one, right, in a combination, as a continuation. That's why it said history of management to understand today's practices and tomorrow's practices. History is a continuation. History means the continuation of what has happened in the past, now what is happening currently, and what should be happening in future. But everything should be presented with that information. Information means you have to provide the outline of these perspectives we had under the 2 headings. Distinguish scientific management from bureaucratic management. In the classical management, we noted the two. Then you distinguish means there are similar features in the both. There are dissimilar features also. You can tell them. Right. In bureaucratic, Max Weber introduced the use of authority, hierarchy, be impartial in selection and giving promotions to employees, use rules, regulations. But he has also used similar things found in the Taylor's scientific management, task specialization, those things, task specialization. There are such similar features and such dissimilar features between the two. You have to highlight it or compare. In two sides, you can present it. Two columns. Right. These are very structured, because there are more sub questions, right? Very structured, strongly structured. Right. Then I will upload this also. Lesson because we have done this now. Then later you can go to again and try to, if any duplications, need not to write the answers again, but try to understand how questions would come in a similar way. Right, then here we will have a break now for about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, online members also can have your break for about 10 to 15 now. Coming back, we will do some other things. Yeah, important. Yeah, we will study this paper first. There's a case, the case of Bharat Engineering. Indian case, no? Yeah, there are two questions in a similar form. Briefly describe 5 major problems faced by Bharat Engineering as per the fundamentals of management or management fundamentals. Briefly explain one solution to address each of the problems you have described in above one. That's the second part. Right. Then we will go through the passages and try to understand it. The Bharat Engineering. Bharat Engineering Works Limited is one of the major industrial machineries besides other engineering products. It has enjoyed market preference for its machineries because of limited competition in the field. Usually, they are having more orders than what the company could supply. However, the scenario changed quickly because of the entry of two new competitors in the field with foreign technological collaboration. For the first time, the company faced problem in marketing its products with usual profit margin. Sensing the likely problem, the chief executive appointed Mr. Arvind Kumar as general manager to direct the operations of industrial machinery division. Mr. Kumar had similar assignment abroad before coming back to India. Mr. Kumar had a discussion with the CEO about the nature of the problem being faced by the company so that he could fix up his priority. The CEO advised him to consult various heads of department to have first-hand information. However, he emphasized that the company lacked an integrated planning system, maybe strategic general together. No? While members of the board of directors insisted on introducing this in several meetings, both formally and informally. After joining as general manager, Mr. Kumar got briefings from the heads of all departments. He asked all heads to identify major problems and issues concerning them. The marketing manager indicated that in order to achieve higher sales, he needed more sales support. Sales people had no central organization to provide sales support, nor was there a generous budget for demonstration teams, which could be sent to customers to win business. Those are like in areas. The production manager complained about the old machines and equipment used in manufacturing. Therefore, cost of production was high, but without corresponding quality. While competitors had better equipment and machineries, Bharat Engineering had neither replaced its age-old plant nor reconditioned it. Therefore, to reduce the cost, it was essential to automate production lines by installing new equipment. Last para. The director R&D did not have specific problem and therefore did not indicate for any change. However, principal scientists in R&D indicated on one day that the director of R&D, though very nice in his approach, did not emphasize on short-term research projects, which could easily increase production efficiency at least by at least 20% within a very short period without any major capital outlay. Yeah, that was observed and said by the main scientist in R&D. Right. That's the story. Those are the stories. Briefly, you have then identified and described different managerial problems. 5 of them. Similar to the Cadbury, no? Cadbury way of doing. But information is different. But similar concepts can be considered. We have to start. Or as one way you can start from planning. Strategy plan or gender plan. But one information said no integration, integrated plans here. Yeah, for integrated planning, no, would be one problem that you have to elaborate that, describe it. It seems that this organization and Bharat Engineering has not established strategic planning process supported by the general planning process, now what we discussed no, in the subject. Because of that, it has not developed and communicated vision, mission, and strategic goals to the other managers, no, and then employees. But this may have a flat organizational structure, not a long one. Whatever the structure, planning is very essential component in the management process. Therefore, that is needed for this organization. No? Then it is one major issue, managerial issue. Then another point. How about the organizing? The nature of the organizing function, structure. We don't see much information about the use of coordination, two types of coordination. If so, I think most of these problems could be detected, no? Detected and rectified in between. No lack of use of the two types of coordination. No? Therefore, production department, sales department, R&D would be functioning in their own way. But to achieve the synergy, no, of in strategic goals, that would be another problem. What we discuss in second lesson. And another, we can talk about the environment, no? Need of understanding the effect of external environment. It has happened now, but before it is the only supply, right? But now industry got changed with new players, newcomers. It's a new entrant, no? Then bargaining power of them is high. Then rivalry to share the market would be high, higher than. Therefore, such environmental analysis is also not seen, no, here, as we discussed in that lesson. Analyzing the external environment and its effects to adapt into that. That would be another issue or needed one for this business. Then we identify three, no? Better to, start from that before pointing out planning. That's the order, proper order. Then always, no, since as academics, management students, in the practice you can change that. But now your role is a student, management student, no? Then follow the order as much as possible. But when you work for an organization, don't think in that order, right? Then your bosses will blame you. You have, work there appropriate, think there appropriate. But you can't forget these concepts, fundamentals. Right, another one? Yeah, another one can also be identified from planning. We don't see the use of departmental plans, supporting plans, or technical plans to support the strategic plans. That would be another limitation problem. Then you can elaborate that. Then last one, controlling, no? With regard to controlling, we don't see the use of the three types of controls. Inputs or feedback, feed forward, concurrent, and feedback controls, no? Right. Then the suggestions can be easily given for this. Right there. The company should introduce both control that actually, but it should be given to the next part, second part of the answer, right? Question. Right. Then I give other recommendations, actionable recommendations for other four suggestions, four problems, four needs. Then you can easily give them, no? All can be said as because those are not, those have not been introduced yet. You can propose, introduce in this manner, those things, and practice in this manner. This is a single business, no? Single business, not a group company, no? Therefore, I think you need not to talk about BCG metrics. But Porter's five forces model is applicable, no? Yes. Now this is in a competitive marketplace, even in India. Under environmental analysis, you can propose, no? These models can be used, no? The photo model to analyze the nature of the competition of the industry, no? Industry. Then portfolio strategy, those are diversification, those are not relevant for this. BCG, they are not relevant. Only photo model is relevant. Yeah, CEO's style is okay, no? He tries listening and delegating, no tasks, no problems in his leadership style. But those organizational problems are remaining. Poor coordination. Because of that, I think this organization and the people could not readily rectify the scenario. Then you have to propose in the part two. Another would be selection appropriately. No? You can say market research, ne? Market research based on the R&D department. Timely market research in advance, no? Then these threat areas can be identified. Challenging areas can be identified in order to convert them as opportunities. Right. Then the other questions, these are structured questions. Managers hold keys to open doors of the business organizations, irrespective of nature, scale, ownership, and so on. In fact, it is up to the managers who need to make decisions efficiently as well as effectively in a changing environment to ensure both survival and success of the organization. That's how we define management now. Right. The question is about the external environment. Describe the impact of external environment on a business organization with examples. That diagram should be provided to understand the different causes, factors from the environment. No, we had a diagram no? At the end of the third lesson. Then briefly explain how to use that. Explain with example different types of decisions. Right. We mainly identify two types: program decisions and non-program, or structured or unstructured. You can use similar names and we explain and give some examples for program decisions and non-program decisions. All operational decisions can be considered as program decisions. The other long-term complex decisions can be presented under non-program. Where senior managers should be involved in making the other managers, especially lower level managers, should involve in making. But if you like, you can add the tactical or semi-structured decisions also, no? Which are done mainly by the departmental managers, divisional line managers, functional managers. No harm to identify that also to show your knowledge, because 10 marks are given. That is not a must, but you better do that since I explained. No? And explain the nature of the complexity, nature of the information availability, ability to put into the decision process, all can be, considered in the two types or the three types to distinguish them. Those are the information you should include in your writing. Therefore, no need of explaining about personal styles, decision models, etc. No, those are not relevant. But you can say that mostly rational decision making normative model can be used to make program decisions. No, that can be said. To make advanced decisions, managers may follow the other two, no, administrative model or political model, qualitative team-based model. Right, third one, managers engage in planning, organizing, leading and controlling in a mutual process. In particular, they have to lead people distinctively in order to achieve the full potential of the organization. Right, then first question is to provide the diagram. No? We had in the introduction session. That is also based on the system view, the management process to be presented as a mutually related process functions. Yeah, right. Then after that, you can explain briefly and the interconnection of each function. For that purpose, as an example, you can say no controlling happens without plans. Performance standard identified in plans. The interrelationship of these functions should be well explained. But definitely you have to provide the diagram. The resources are coming as inputs from the SQL, which are converted in planning, organizing, right? Then outputs, again going back to the external, that diagram should be provided. Briefly explain why major competencies that managers need to possess and develop to be successful leaders in organization. Yeah, you can get ideas from different sources. One area is comparing, managing, and leading. Another is the survey document we discussed. No? Additional claim benchmark published document. Yeah, but definitely you have to show appropriate communication and listening as major competence or skill set all managers should develop. Number one is that. Then other empathy, no? emotional intelligence, proper direction of others, giving feedback, clearly stating goals, giving feedback, general management skills, other general management skills like problem solving, conflict resolution, those things. Right. And also you can get some points from the leading partners. Right. Risk. They should develop risk-taking behavior. They should use conflicts as positive conflicts. Right. Likewise, they should be able to motivate and inspire others. Right. But I prefer you to use that research-based evidence. Right. Discussed in the survey document. No? It already had at least five such points. If properly given, possessive, they can achieve the success. Otherwise, they will fail. That's how we discussed them. No? But even you can say major competencies that of managers, no, competencies include knowledge as well. Yeah. Then as the first point, you can say successful managers today should hold the fundamental knowledge of different management concepts. That's what we do in this subject. That is also relevant as per the words in the question. That is also relevant. And one can say to be successful managers, they can have good attitudes, professionalism also under the competency. Finally, you can tell that point also. And identify those skills also between this having fundamental knowledge and having good attitudes and professionalism. That would be the first and last point. Then identify at present 3 other skills also, including communication. Therefore, always you have to cross-check the words given in the question. Then in different ways, you can provide the answer. But straight away, you can't come to that level. You need to have the experience and knowledge. But finally, I say, because the major competencies are highlighted, no? The term used here is the competencies. It includes knowledge, that's the broader one, the competence, knowledge, skills, attitudes, professionalism. All are there. K, A, S, P, all are there. It is not only about leadership skills, no? It's a managerial competence. The other two from my other lecturer. It is about entrepreneurship. Therefore, I'm not going to discuss it now. Or different business models to address pandemic now. It is over. Yeah, blue ocean strategy is also another model, like blue ocean model, red ocean model, rational model. Next one is about creativity and innovation. Right. That's all, no? In this paper, which are relevant to us. This one doesn't have a case, no? Doesn't have a case. It hasn't a case. But we will try to go through quickly. Define management in your own words. But you have to, present some keywords also, right? Management is a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling different resources, no? Or limited resources of an organization to help achieve its goals, no? In a changing environment. Right. That is enough. Need not to introduce, no? Providing a definition is enough to get 4 marks. Briefly explain 5 importance of management to contemporary managers with examples. 5 points that should be presented, no? Briefly. One is the definition itself, no? We had that, no? At least three importances can be derived from the given definition. One is one importance of management is to utilize the resources, no limited resources efficiently. Right. Then you can elaborate that. Then another one is to achieve the corporate goals effectively. Then to conduct the business to match with the changes in the environment. It is another one. Then another one to gain management can help organizations to gain their different competitive advantages, no? And to stay competitive in the market. Right. Then it would help to satisfy different needs of different stakeholders. Then you can elaborate that, right, with some 1 or 2 more sentences. Right. That's how we can derive 5 main importance benefits of management for today's managers or today's organizations. In the definition itself, those are there, no? Right. Efficiency, effectiveness, changes, but all are not there. Then you have to think beyond the definition. Satisfying stakeholders means satisfying external customers, satisfying and motivating internal customers, so employees. Then satisfying owners, okay, with high return on investment. Then satisfy general public and governments, etc. No? Right. Then a change in environment should be elaborated. No? In that lesson, we identified, no, what kind of environmental forces, how to adapt. Then gaining competitive advantages can be explained, no? As Porter mentioned, 3 generic strategies can be used. No? Cost leadership, differentiation, market, niche markets. But together. Therefore, no understay, no? These should come with flowing. For that purpose, you have to, engage in the subject, do revisions, study a lot. Then similar techniques can be used in other subjects also, but their contents are different. Subject matters are different. Not for mathematical subject, but for other descriptive subjects. Found in for management account, you have to work through. You have to complete the sums, calculate. But there are some theory related answers, no? Interpretation type answers. Like, what are the key findings of Hawthorne studies? We had no under behavioral humanistic approach. Key findings. One is worker productivity is not only a consequence of technological factors, but it is a consequence of their human factors. Or you can have 2 points if you divide them. Another is workers try to develop and maintain informal relations. They also, yeah, that is one. Another, they also like to gain a certain level of power and to use that as influencing capacity for supervisors and others. Right. Then they try to organize informally while working. They try to comply with group norms, not to violate them. Then final contribution is to study about researching about human behavior. Both of finally help us to know how to study human behavior with the new methods, new behavioral approach. Therefore, 5 such points can be presented. Right. Briefly describe 4 elements of the external environment with examples. 8 marks were given now, but if you can provide that circle diagram, provide that. Then after that, pick some 4 elements from 6 elements of external environment. No? Globalization, technological, economic, socio-cultural, legal, political, natural. In a familiar way, you can select and briefly explain it. Right. But tell that not like other environment, regular environment, task environment. Our normal assumption is the external environment has a timely effect. But now we see the regular effect of that also, no, for businesses. Likewise, your own argument also can be given at the end. Explain the contingency theory, that means the situational theory in management, not the contingency leadership theory, yeah. Contingency theory in management. And its importance to contemporary managers. There's a diagram we use now in boxes, right? Universal view, case by view, no? Then, if similar patterns of problems are there, then similar devices should be made. If dissimilar patterns are there, different devices should be made. Have that framework configuration there, then after that you can elaborate. You can give examples from situational leadership, product life cycle, how to manage different stages of product life cycle, how to present leadership style to match with the worker behavior based on the XY theory. Right. So time is over. Okay. Then importance is what? The importance managers can do practice distinctively, you know, to match with the situation. To match the situation. Therefore, they can understand to come up with similar strategies for similar situations and dissimilar strategies for dissimilar situations. Right. Therefore, they should be unique to manage people and other resources. No? Right. Or they should be distinctive. The managers can understand they should be distinctive enough in managing all resources, especially the human resource, managing human resource. 7 marks are only given, no? Need not to elaborate much, but better to give that diagram, the box type diagram. It's a small, straightforward diagram. Right. This is a repetitive question. Describe the process of managerial planning. That means a general planning diagram should be provided. Explain the points briefly. The same advantages, disadvantages of planning. In 2 columns, 2 sides you can present them. Briefly explain 3 functions of organizing: job designing, departmentalization, coordination. In explaining departmentalization, need not to draw the figures, but just say these are the different bases or types of departmentalization. But you have to first say what it means. Clustering different jobs, into units, divisions of department, looking at their similarities and differences. After that, give these are the following are the alternative departmentalization types, namely, or in bullets you can press simple departmentalization, functional departmentalization, product departmentalization, market or customer, geographical metrics. Right. That's the second point, Second function. First function, job design. You can say it is a HRM function. What happens there? The organizations can determine tasks and responsibilities of each job. Then simple job simplification, job rotation, job enrichment are the different job design techniques. That's enough, no? Then coordination is 2 types: vertical, horizontal. Vertical coordination is to fill the gap between senior management and operational level. For that purpose, downward communication, upward communication, both can be used. The purpose of lateral or horizontal communication is to enhance the synergy, teamwork, and to help achieving corporate goals together. Right. 6 marks are given. In that way, you can present the answer. If so, I think you can get the full marks, 100%. No one can undermine it. But you have to write them. Otherwise, you will forget. You will deviate from the focus. You have to, if you do that, then it will remain in your mind during your life. As driving, but swimming is different, If we don't swim frequently, we can't swim actually. But we can drive right, even after a longer period of time. It's a matter of just trying for few minutes or second. Then we can keep it down. Climbing also same, Those days we climb base, but it's a matter of concern in little moment, Then we can climb. But it is dangerous, don't climb up. I give the explain 2 intrinsic motivational factors with example, not about 2 motivation. In that, some examples for the factors of the second one, intrinsic. But first we have to mention what it means, what's the purpose of that, and then give some examples. And briefly explain them. What are the examples? Appreciation of a good job done by worker, by the boss or colleagues. Then what is intrinsic, which are psychological in nature. Then responsibility, the sense of responsibility by the worker, responsibility orientation, status. There are many more. Respect, dignity, love, then career growth, achievement orientation, those things are. The examples we gave for the fourth and fifth level in the Maslow's hierarchy can be taken together. Describe the process of communication. That model can be provided, then briefly explain. The sender, receiver, different channels. In sender and receiver, those psychological variables should be provided. Then in up we see noise, then feedback. About 5 marks can be obtained with the figure, but to get the other marks, you have to, briefly explain the pattern of the elements in the model. What are the 7 principles of developing leaders in an organization? State in what now? State in naming is enough. One by one. First one, having strategy of leadership development to develop leaders in all 3 levels: top level, middle level, and lower levels. No, right. That is the first principle. Second, selecting. Selecting candidates for different jobs having leadership qualities for the potential. Then giving training and development to fill leadership gaps. Right. Then have good career planning and development to ensure right person is there to the right job at right time. Mostly organizations can have a good succession plan. Then middle managers or line managers should be used as intermediaries, so middlemen to fill gaps of leadership and other gaps between senior management and lower level. Right. Then have a good corporate values, organizational values as anchors or building blocks of leadership development throughout the business. Then final one, 7th one, the role of the chief executive officer. He or she is responsible for the success or failure of leadership development. He should help others to groom up the leadership capacity. Right, define the concept of organizational controlling. We did that in advance actually. To the last lesson we did power qualities, but you may remember. Organizational controlling is a systematic process to ensure the organizational activities are happening in consistently predetermined standards of performance. Right. Definition, defining is enough, need not to introduce. Briefly explain 3 non-financial control methods. Yeah, even in a previous paper, those came non-financial. Quality control, behavioral control, inspection, right, culture control. State 7 challenges faced by modern managers. In the concept book also, I think I have given. I did not do this specially. State in naming is enough. One by one, you can have a list, even in bullets. One is managing, the challenge of managing workforce diversity. Right. Then another one is challenge of balancing work life together of employees. Then enhancing customer service or fulfilling customer service. Then improving quality continuous or total quality. Then developing people, developing and satisfying employees, people. Then conducting businesses ethically, ethical conduct of business. Right. Those are 5 such trending topics. So challenges means that these are the needs ahead of managers. What is meant by business model? Those are the things given by the other lecturer. Right. I am not covering these. The blue version, those are there, where competition is irrelevant. Businesses should not bother about competition. They have to see competition is irrelevant. The market is there as the huge ocean. Therefore, it's a matter of presenting themselves distinctively. right? To gain competitive advantage. Then creativity is the capacity to think differently, but through that, when businesses are commercializing things, introducing new things, it is called innovation. Right. Likewise, even you can Google and study it. We did 4 or 5 papers, no? If we have to meet on the last day, 26th, no? During the same time. But I like not to have that. But as a norm, we have to follow it. If so, we will not get oral presentation, no? Then I will do, I discuss the revision questions given for all lessons, one by one. But still we have time, or little more time. Yeah, can we see any remaining tasks, important tasks left in the ebook? In here also we did so many cases, no? About 5, 6 or 10? Or 10. Did we do the case for the controlling? I think I did for this class, no? This one? Purchase managers troubles. Did we do? I think we did, no? Did this one for you. Small case. Did we do this? No, no idea. Only 2 paras, no? Zenith Industries Limited. I heard as an extract, I heard about this valuable budget idea in a management conference I attended last week. Remarked by Kapoor, president of Zenith Industries, a small company, budget, whose clever new sports products had given rise to growth since its found in 5 years ago to a level this much million annual sales. Some speakers said that the sound way to run a company is to let all the departments and sections heads develop their own budgets. Right. But I cannot imagine doing this in this company. In the previous case also we noted this point problem. No? If I did, these people would spend so much money that we would soon be bankrupt. No, as long as I am in charge of this company, I will tell my people what they can spend. There will be no blank checks here. And I will hold my chief accountant responsible for making sure that this company makes the profits I want. I have heard of too many companies with the past growth we have had that have gone into liquidation because optimism and uncontrolled spending went through the ceiling. The same happened to our country also over several years, decades. And this idea of variable budget is even worse, variable budget. Imagine what would happen if I let everyone vary his budgets each month, quarter, or year. Right. This is about the budgetary method, no? Financial control method is a tip. What is called plus and minus, like for this. What's your view about this control method as a financial control method? Therefore, I think we have to look at not only the quantitative figures, no? We have to, look at the other hidden factors, qualitative factors in budgeting, no? Like behavior, mainly the behavioral factors and the need of matching to the environmental changes. The similar things were introduced in that Bharat case also, no? Right. Therefore, the similar problem areas identified in that company around the budget or controlling can be used here also. Therefore, the budgeting should be integrated, no? Integrated. Distributed. Integrated. Both the financial measures, non-financial measures should be considered. Therefore, we have to use both financial control methods and non-financial control methods altogether. They have their own purpose. Right. That would be the explanation given here now based on this. I didn't do these, the very quantitative methods like which are discussed in project evaluation. Project evaluation, CPM method, critical path method, PERT method, Gantt charts. These are also quantitative methods in controlling. But at the end of the lesson, we discuss about open book management, balanced scorecard, no? Balanced scorecard as modern approaches for controlling. We did this, no? On the last day. Self-managed teams at that company. Asha Kiran Hospital, we did this also. Police, we did no in communication. Levels of organizational communication. Did we touch this? No. A small case like. Oh, did we do? Anybody who remembers? No, I think I did. We skipped, forgot to use this. Right. Then it's a similar size with the previous case, no? But about communication. We will quickly go through this. Organizational communication encompasses many aspects. It spans a wide range from formal and informal internal communication practices to externally directed communication. Yeah, we did. I have done this for another class. Yeah, it includes marketing, communication, public relations, investor relations, corporate advertising, environmental communication. In larger sense, it encompasses organization initiatives on CSR and corporate citizenship behavior. Then human resource professionals can keenly use, uniquely position themselves through communication, right? Therefore, HR professionals can show that, otherwise they can't ask from others to communicate appropriately, right? And another thing, in all training programs, organized by the HR department, should give priority to improve communication of participants, right? Right. That's how we can study this small case, right? Effects of communication cannot be easily seen, It is widely, broadly seen. Even it goes to the global levels. Yeah, we use a lot of global channels, information channels like Facebook, Twitter, Messenger. There are new methods now going above Facebook. Traditional Facebook is now traditional method, like emails, but we will continue them. We did this unwanted promotion. Then I do this on the whiteboard because that day my friend has come and done that class. Yeah, under the leadership skills, not competency, skills. First, we have to consider three main skills we study as proposed by Robert Cards: conceptual skill, technical skill, human skill. Because all managers should have this, Therefore, managerial leaders also should have this. But in addition to these three, under leadership skills, their personal skills can be considered, Also can be considered. Under the personal skills, their intelligence, emotional maturity, personal motivation, honesty, integrity, all can be considered. Therefore, communication might be taken to human, under human. That is to have a good relationship with others. Did we do this, Senkapen, in motivation? No? I think we did this. Yeah, I remember I did this. Yeah, we have covered many things. Now you can do that other subject also easily. Organizational behavior in your third semester. You can do that easily. But there are new things. Some new things are there. Even at the MBA level, you can easily do this subject, management practice subject, and the OB also there. Did we discuss this one under organizing? Reorganization as a rebirth. Asking similar experience from you. and what is required to do changes, no, in the halfway. Yeah, this includes points taken from different lessons, ne? Not only from one lesson. Can you remember whether we did this or not? Not done. Then quickly we will go through, because we have a little more time now. Need not to go up to 12:30. But the balance time can be used to finalize your report, huh? Discussing. He is asking that, no? You are the one asked from me to give time. No, there's another one. Right. Two questions were asked, no? Had you been a part of such a situation? How had your initial reaction, if so, right? And why? Then after analyzing the case, do you think that such a massive change was required for this organization? Or it is out in the halfway? Right. Reorganization as rebirth, huh? Right. Like many organizations in very old, St. Francis Regional Medical Center in Wichita, Kansas, US, tried downsizing, corporate downsizing. Still, it is a hot topic now. Now it is highly used by even big companies, multinationals. Even that Twitter owner did this, not right. But he worried about the what is called layoff of disabled person. Then he rejoined. He was allowed to rejoin. Mass. Right. A layoff of 400 layoff downsizing means mainly that. A layoff of 400 people was a horrible experience, both for those who left and for those who stayed. The 1990s brought a change in the healthcare environment, and the hospital's administration needed to change the structure and culture in order to remain competitive. In using that article was about successful team development, we noted that no change in structure, culture are necessary to introduce new practices like team practices. We also say downsizing is a new practice, a corporate agenda. Right. The management team remapped the ideal management structure to run things without regard to the structure that was actually in place. That is called, that's why it is said as a rebirth. No? To make such a radical change work, they define a specific job titles, but not a specific people. Right. That's the ignored part. They dissolved the old organizational chart and created a new one, which are not live now. These are only maps, diagrams. Unveiling a chart that had all the new titles on it with no names. Right. Those who wanted to be part of the new organization had to apply for whatever position they felt they were most qualified to fill. Imagine having to apply for whatever positions they felt they were qualified to fill. Imagine having to apply to a company you'd been with for 15 years. The restructuring also meant the rethinking of corporate culture. An examination of culture revealed that making decisions at the hospital become bogged down by management and dictated by policy. There are communication problems, no? Right? Trust building problems, trust issues are there. Eliminating all policies allowed the team to look at things as possibilities rather than restrictions. Two task forces were formed to look at service lines and functional realignment. A consulting firm was called, as in a previous similar case, no, into help the hospital make the transition. The consulting firm helped strategize and create a timeline for the changes. Two more paragraphs. At the reorganization meeting, each employee was given an 80-page bound booklet, complete with the vision statement, the chart, timetable, the organization fact sheet, copies of all position descriptions, and a Q&A section. The result was error, confusion, upheaval, and little by little understanding, cooperation, and success. Instead of approaching the reorganization as a shameful secret, the task forces highlighted the changes in the new culture and tied the internal changes to the changes in the healthcare industry. Each week, the grapevine, the informal communication, no? The grapevine reorganization update was distributed. Rumors, gossips, etc. No? In the first official day of the new organization, employees were given flowers and a message stating, "Today starts a new beginning focused on you." Right. The new corporate culture involves management by contrast. The new VPs, vice presidents, walk the hallways and touch base constantly with what's going on. The result of the reorganization and decision making at lower levels, which results in faster actions. No more ideas die because of red tape. Bureaucratic. The reorganization is fluid and ongoing with employees and managers still incorporating the new management philosophy and corporate culture into their daily work lives. Right. Then first question asks, do you have a similar experience to face such a situation? If so, how you reacted in that manner and why? You have to imagine. You don't have any real life examples. Now, downsizing is happening in Sri Lankan local firms also, no? In most of the local firms, no? Unknown to the employee, sometimes, no? The letter comes in, no? Saying that within 1 or 2 months, you have to resign voluntarily. That's the trend, no? Now, due to overcome these problems of economic downturns, increased cost of supplies, high competition, high losses. Even some companies cannot maintain the break-even point, no? Yeah, now I think all of us can see, no? Can be familiar with these actions, no? With other organizations even, not actually in the organization level. Right. Then what would be the initial reactions, if so? You would be panic and you try to gather much information, no? Information and to justify it. Or sometimes you can find out alternative, no, places, or can think of starting your own business, self-employment. Or you can be happy about the currently save money in a bank or in an FD. Right. In that way, you can give explanations, huh? Right. After analyzing the case, do you think that such a massive change was indeed required for this hospital, or was there as a midway out? It's partially out. Yeah, then you have to, consider these facts. A radical change was necessary here. Or it should have been approaching a proper plan B. Then all others can tolerate it, no? Yeah. But one can say yes, such a radical change was required. Then explain the answer. Another can say no, instead of using a quick radical change, this change could have been approached in the Japanese way, no? With Kaizen, continuous improvement or the plan way, introducing small changes in piecemeal, no? Right. Then you have to elaborate why you say so. Because hospital is not much profit for, no? Profit for. It is for ensure the well-being of people, no? Enhance the health, safety, quality of life of people, no? Therefore, such an institution by nature and by the mission should not take quick changes, implement quick unmanageable strategies. It can be done by for-profit organizations, no? Right. We discussed those things, no, at the beginning of the strategic plan, right? For these businesses, strategic planning is to identify the plan events and respond the manage the events, no, appropriately, right? Therefore, with that, you can say for this business, this hospital set up such a radical change was not the case. Instead of that, the management would use a steady method, alternative method to do changes step by step. Because the main objective goal is to serve patients, no? Save their life. This is not a manufacturing or commercial business. Right. In that way, you can argue, present the answer. Then we studied this, I think, no? Nokia restructuring. Did we study? Yeah, I remember. No, because it's long. I didn't look. Oh, did we do this? I have done this not for this class, maybe for another class. But anyhow, now we will stop now here. Then sometimes they will ask us to come and do the class on 26th. But try to, upload your PDF copies to the course page of the LMS following the submission guidelines by tomorrow. Don't wait till 11 or midnight. Before that, no, little before, try to upload. One copy for one team, only one copy for one team. Then during the remaining time, try to, without disturbing others, we have about 3 minutes more than that, no? Try to discuss about the completion of your concept book. All right, yeah, I finish the class at 12. Okay, then thanks. In this way, we will stop the class. Online members also can. They also can, reshuffle your assignment.